The GOP's presumptive nominee, Donald Trump, has turned out to be a presidential candidate like no other. And that has worked hugely in his favor and against him as well. It's no secret that his opponents are trying to paint him as a chauvinist, a bigot. Controversies surrounding his campaign rhetoric and notorious tweets surely will not end anytime soon. But we're going to spend some time now talking with a woman who's been inside Trump's business empire, knows the man when he's away from the cameras and off the campaign trail. Jill Martin is Vice President and Assistant General Counsel for the Trump Organization, and she joins me in studio. How long have you worked for Donald?
About 5.5 years.
So you worked inside the company, right?
That is correct.
Are you also involved in the campaign?
I am not. I just work for his company.
So how do you feel about that side of him? What's going on in the campaign? Are you surprised?
You know, I think the thing I'm most surprised about is how he's kind of turned politics on his head and really gotten so many people involved. I'm not really surprised in his success or you know, his message and how he's doing on the campaign, because I think it's the same person I really see day in and day out. But I am a little surprised at how you know, involved Americans have gotten with this, with his campaign in particular.
A lot of women work for him in key jobs, right?
Yeah, that's correct. He's, you know, he does promote women, I think, more than I've seen in many other big companies. I worked in private practice before I went to the Trump Organization, and I've always been amazed and really proud at how he promotes women and really is a champion of women succeeding in business.
How do you get the bad rap then?
You know, I don't know. He's involved in different industries. You know, he's got a modeling company and he's got a pageant company, and I think that sometimes the characterizations from those industries have kind of crossed over into the everyday business world. And when he's judging women in a pageant, it's much different than what it's like working for him in a strictly commercial business capacity.
The New York Times Magazine did that story on him and women. You were asked about the possibility of a lawsuit, and you said, "I think it is a distinct possibility." Trump's general counsel, Michael Cohen, walked back against that idea, and he said he asserted the Times owned Donald Trump, and on the women in the article and an apology and a retraction, it's a high bar. It's not going to end up in litigation. What do you think?
You know, I hope it doesn't end up in litigation, but I think we are going to continue to reach out to the New York Times. And, you know, it's unfair for the New York Times to publish articles like that were not based on fact. They were really based on spinning people's story to publish the story the New York Times wanted to print. And look, the New York Times got what they wanted. They got millions and millions of people to read their article, but at the same time, they're getting quite a bit of backlash from the women who participated in saying that's not at all what we intended to say.
Were you surprised at the article?
Not really. You know, I could tell, I participated myself in an interview for the article, and I could tell that the authors were trying to write something negative. You know, they pushed really hard to get bad information from people or something that they could use to spin in a bad way. So, you know, I was disappointed when I read it, and I certainly thought it was worse than I would have expected, but I had a feeling it wasn't going to be a real true-to-point article.
And you based in L.A. or?
I am. I'm in Los Angeles.
Now, he's so involved with the campaign. How much does he talk to you about his businesses?
You know, it's definitely less than it was in the past. His 3 adult children have definitely taken a greater role in the company, and so I do communicate with them more so now on business issues than I do him. But I still do keep in contact with him kind of as much as his schedule allows.
How do you explain his success?
You know, I think his success is based on the fact that Americans can really relate with what he's saying and the message he's saying. And I think he's, you know, people see that he's genuinely cares about making the country better. So I think that's what people are gravitating towards. And I think they want to change. They want someone who's going to do things a little bit different.
He called Hillary's success due to her being born female. But his success might be due to be born white, male, and wealthy, right? I mean, there are two sides to all coins.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, you know, I don't think his success is based on that. From watching him and observing him and really learning from him over the last 5.5 years, I think his success is because of who he is and his way of doing things and his way of thinking and his, you know, he really is the hardest worker I've ever seen in my life. So I think his success is attributed to who he is. You know, I hope that people don't vote for someone simply because they're a woman. I hope that when a woman is elected president, it's because that woman has done so because she is the right candidate and it's on her merit. You know, it shouldn't be man, woman, black, white. Let's just elect the right person.
Donald sleeps only about 4 hours a night, right?
Yeah, if that.
Is he a harsh practitioner? Is he a tough boss in the Steve Jobs realm?
You know, he's definitely demanding, and he expects the best out of everyone that works for him. But I think that helps everyone who does work for him really rise to that level and become the best they can be. But at the same time, he's very kind and very gracious. You know, he asks a lot, he expects a lot, but he does it in a way that is very self-motivating and is also just really kind. I mean, he's a kind person, and I've always felt he's treated me with nothing but really genuine kindness and respect.
Would he pick a woman as a running mate?
You know, like I said, if it's the right person, he doesn't judge people based on man or woman. He really is looking for someone who's going to complement him as a running mate.
Thank you, Jill.
Thank you.
The other side.